My name is Chrissy Chard. I use she, they pronouns, and my background actually is in academia. I was a professor for the last 7 years before transitioning here, worked in public health and exercise science. And I have a background in health coaching, and I did a lot of that throughout my time. And I am a researcher. I have done a lot of research primarily alongside young people, so have always worked with youth. When I was thinking about becoming a parenting coach, there were a few things happening in my life. One was it was mid-pandemic, and I was home with three little children and finding ourselves in a pretty chaotic household, finding myself in a place where I was a little bit at a loss for what to do, how to parent my own children. And at the same time, I was working with a coach, sort of a mindset manifestation coach. And it all sort of swirled together where I came to realize that I had a lot of the skill sets that are supportive to coaching. And I had a real vested personal interest in figuring this thing out and figuring out parenting in a way that felt good. And I'm a firm believer, as soon as you put something out there and pay attention, things emerge. And I came across Jai, and it was, just this like full body yes. I was really fortunate to have been doing some work in somatics and embodiment. And so I knew when I came across it and read about it that this was the thing that would really bring together, again, what I was personally experiencing and my background and my gifts and the things that I knew I was good at. Some of the things that I learned that felt most impactful were just how much self-responsibility is required of us in parenting. And I think sometimes that's a hard lesson for us to learn and hear and be open to. We can't know going into parenting just how hard it's going to be and just how raw in many ways it's going to be. And I think the gently inviting way that Jai reminds us and invites us to step into self-responsibility to say, this is my job. And I may not have quite known what I was signing up for when I chose to be a parent, and here I am. That piece was really important to me and really shifted how I approached parenting, and how committed I was to figuring it out. Because I came to view it as this is really my responsibility. Going through the certification was, magic, I think, is the only way to describe it. Every week I would leave there and go back to my partner and, my network and say, I'm even more sure that this is what I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm supposed to be. And, like week by week, it just kept becoming more and more clear. And I think a part of that was learning so many new things. It's one of those things that we don't realize how much we don't know about a field like parenting, especially until we're starting to learn. And it's like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And that was really motivating to me, because the other piece of that was, and I tell my clients this all the time, that if I want them to take one thing away, is that it's never too late. We can all, right? It's such a generous, warm, we're in this together and we are all grappling and we're all learning, and however we're showing up is beautiful, and we're going to get from it what we desire and need to get from it. Pairing those two things alongside each other were, I think, what really made it so transformational, is because I was getting the learning, but not in a way where I felt any kind of shame or blame or guilt that I didn't know this already, and really created an environment and fostered a space where I could really lean in and do that learning that I so desperately needed to do. Taking clients through this process has been, in so many ways, it's such an honor. It's such a gift. I don't think my clients, I try to tell them all the time, I don't think they realize what a gift it is that I receive by getting to be the person who holds space for them and who bears witness to their transformation and gets to illuminate their small wins and be in it with them when they're struggling. It's such a privilege and an honor, and by far is my favorite part of this, to get to be that space holder. I think it's a really normal fear to worry or wonder, am I gonna be paid for this? Are there people out there who want to pay for this? And two things come to mind. One is absolutely yes. It's such a new, relatively speaking, new field of coaching in particular, that most of the time, if I'm having a conversation and it comes up, it's like an instant, I had no idea that existed. And why didn't I know about you sooner? And it's always this aha moment for people to realize that this is something that exists. And the other piece that I would say is, there's so much mindset work that we're invited to do really as part of JAI. And that has been another piece that was so profoundly important in my journey, is to realize and do that internal work to say, what's getting in the way of me believing that I could make a living out of this? And having that support along the way, that mindset work, was also such an important piece for me to get to a place where I really did believe not only that people would pay for this, but that I had the capacity to support people in their transformation. I think a couple of the strategies that have worked best are using my existing network. I laugh a little bit when I think about some of the things that I thought were a good idea, that I even spent some money on in digital advertising, and some things you have to learn the hard way. And I keep coming back to, who do I know? Who do they know? And building that community around me of people who know who I am and what I do. And that has really been the thing that has resulted in clients just sort of steadily trickling in. I think the ingredients to becoming a successful parent coach, I think the key one is the belief that you can do it. I mean, at the top, it's that belief in yourself and your ability to do it. And then I think underneath that it's the commitment to keep showing up, however imperfectly. I just have this like, take imperfect action. I think that is another big piece of this. A belief. So yeah, a belief in yourself and your abilities, a belief in the transformation that can come from coaching. I think we have to believe that coaching makes a difference and be really bought in. And then, yeah, that commitment to continuing to show up and take little steps in a direction. For me, those are the three that come to mind. I think the only other thing I'd like to share is, when I think about my deepest why underneath, being a coach and even these one-on-one connections with people, it's such a deeper desire to support parents in helping reconnect to themselves and in helping support their children to not disconnect from themselves. Because I think about so many of our greatest challenges, our biggest social problems that we face, at the core of them is this sense of disconnection. If we can keep them connected to themselves and their sense of common humanity, I think we will make some headway.